We're talking about how to be more social as a man, how to get the girlfriend that you want, how to improve your health with your social life, how to actually break out of your loneliness, out of your isolation. You're not engaged in social activity. You're not really fulfilled at work with your friends. And you come home, and home is kind of like this beautiful wonderland where you just have everything that you need. And you just go into your cave, and you have your computer, and you have your bed, and you have your refrigerator, you have your sweets, you have your food that you can order, and you have your video games, and you can just level up. And you can just go in there and escape, and you think about it all day long. In your RPG, you're actually a god. You have full control, you're powerful, it's an adventure, it's your safe place. And everything is as it should be in your kingdom. But the problem is you don't like your job. You don't like how you're treated in the real world. You don't like how people don't respect you. You don't like how people kind of look down on you. You don't like how your body looks when you look in the mirror. You just see like a pudging marshmallow that has gray hairs coming in and bald spots coming in. And it's not the elegant gray hair like Gandalf. It's actually the withering, bristling hair. And you wish that you could be that real hero like you are in the video games. You wish you could level up. You wish you could actually have adventures in real life instead of just in the bedroom with your computer and all of your compensatory coping mechanisms. I've been a personal trainer for over 10 years, and I've been studying obsessively health and fitness for over 20 years. Ever since I was 13, I got obsessed. I had to overcome every single obstacle in the fitness world that you did, really. I had the acne, I had the bad supplements, I got fat, I got lazy, I got antisocial. And the real thing that really hurt was the low energy and the antisocial. When you lose contact with your power in your social life, with your friends, life really starts to get very weird, very hazy. And as a man, you feel your power just going down the drain. And it's the worst thing that can possibly happen. I still remember after I graduated college, I didn't really have the same social life that I had in college. Me and my girlfriend of 6 years broke up. I was working a job where I didn't have friends that I really liked at all. It was just an antisocial job. I was just doing security work, and I didn't have social alliances. I didn't have a social life. I didn't have a community. I didn't have a tribe. I wasn't going out and making friends. And the thing that really hurt me, guys, was that I was losing my health. It was slow and it was subtle, but I was losing my health because I was working these night shifts. And these night shifts were like a demon. These night shifts would give me everything I needed. I had a computer. The job was easy. I understood the job. And I would just watch anime and movies. I would just download all the movies that I ever wanted. I was watching The Flash. I still remember I was watching all these animes that I really wanted to watch. I was watching Ghost in the Shell, and I thought it was great. I was watching my zombie animes. I thought it was great, but only for a little while, until I realized, wait, what's really happening here? I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling like I'm not engaging with the world. I feel like when I'm interacting with people, I'm not feeling like I used to. I'm feeling a little bit of awkwardness. I'm feeling a little bit of tension. I'm feeling like people don't engage with me how I used to. I used to engage with people and they were like bright-eyed, interested in me. And now I just feel like they're kind of disregarding me a little bit. And I didn't realize this because I was becoming more and more of a zombie, because I was losing my health and becoming more and more lethargic. And I started to see it in the mirror, and I didn't fully understand what people were seeing in me though. What was happening in me was my energy was dropping lower and lower and lower. And when that happened, subconsciously, my social interactions actually got to the point where I was kind of in this needy mode. And I would just come off as like this taker, right? I wasn't this gregarious, energy-filled, life-filled, generous, looking out for you, Jesus-infused Christian who had a healthy social life, good friends, loving girlfriend, cat at home, on purpose, going towards a worthwhile mission, wanting to be a physical therapist, wanting to heal people, wanting to see people get stronger and make a difference, and a vision of having like a healing sanctuary. We can all gather together and be healthier together, and building a tribe like that. I still remember I used to have that as a vision, as a pushing forward force. And I wanted to see people smiling, and I wanted to see people imbibing positive energy together, powerful energy. In college, we would have that energy at sports days. Every Friday, we'd all get together, and we would all just throw a frisbee, play games. We play football, we play soccer, and this is all high school friends. In college, we were in our 20s, and we had that energy. Everybody laughing, everybody teaming up, everybody doing their best, everybody training in between sports days. You know, laughing, jumping, diving for the frisbee, getting in healthy competition, and then going out to eat after. The amount of laughter, the amount of good energy that we shared, it was heaven on earth. And I'd also have that in my garage when I had guys come over. I had two buddies, Bobby and Sam, and they'd always come over. And my girlfriend too, she'd lift weights with us. And so we'd all constantly lift weights, and we recruited guys into the weightlifting club. And we had goals. We wanted to bench, squat, and deadlift 1,000 pounds total. And we were constantly doing different fun things, from calisthenics, kettlebells, sandbag lifting. And the point is, I was social. I was social, and having those good friendships and those good hobbies and people with me, and the laughter and the camaraderie and the real memory that we were building, the brotherhood, that all makes you very strong. And so the whole idea that when you are social, you are strong. When you have alliances, it changes not just your mind and your life, it changes your brain chemistry. It changes your physiology. It changes your health. And the literal science behind it is clear. This isn't just vague words that we're tossing out there. If you look at the work of Robert Sapolsky, there's clear science talking about all the changes that happen in your body. Your immune system even changes. You get sick less. You don't get sick when you have strong social alliances and a good social life. It gives you feedback into your brain that changes the cortisol levels, which is the stress in your body. So Sapolsky studies primates in Eastern Africa, and he sees that the primates that are higher in the social dominance hierarchy, is what they call it, have better immune systems, have lower cortisol, actually have higher levels of androgens, which means testosterone. And so what does testosterone do? It makes you more confident, it makes you take more risks, and it gives you more energy. And it makes you more attractive to females. And so when I was in this rut, I always wondered what the heck is happening. And it took me over 10 years of studying psychology to really understand what in the world I can do to break out of this downward spiral. Because what happens is, when you're in this mode of being low status, when you're in this mode of being low energy, not only are you socially at a disadvantage, physically, you're at a disadvantage. You have a weaker immune system. You have higher stress levels. They call it hypervigilance. When you're around other people, you have more social anxiety. And that's the opposite of when you're in this winner effect, which is, the winner effect is when you're in social interactions and the interaction themselves actually boost your body chemistry because of perceived wins or actually having some kind of victory. So they see this in competition, you see this in sports, but you also see this in everyday interactions. So for example, maybe you remember, imagine you're in the office, right? And somebody high status comes in, somebody who thinks that they're the shit, right? And they start joking, and maybe you're talking with them, everything's going okay. Maybe you have a little bit of anxiety talking to this person because they just think that they're the shit. They're this confident guy. And maybe there's a girl there too. Maybe you're at the water cooler. And so maybe you make a comment and he clowns you a little bit. He makes a comment that, you know, the girl laughs at a little bit and is aimed towards you. It's just kind of teasing something that you said. And maybe you feel a little bit embarrassed. You don't know what to say. And all of a sudden, you feel like you're shutting down a little bit. Your brain gets a little bit stressed. You feel a little bit of anger, but you don't know what to say. Maybe you do a fake laugh. You chuckle, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, and you kind of look down a little bit. But what happened there? See, what happened there is very telling. And this is exactly what we're talking about. Micro interactions in social interactions are affecting your chemistry, affecting your health. And so this is what can cause people to feel like they're in a downward spiral. They can't climb the social dominance hierarchy. And this is not just mental speculation. This is the science of social hierarchies, social dominance hierarchies, and how it affects your health, right? So we're biological creatures, guys. Jordan Peterson also talks about this. Jordan Peterson talks about how this is so ingrained in the nervous system all the way back billions of years. Even lobsters have it, where a lot of guys, they don't understand why Jordan Peterson is talking about lobsters. It's like, Jordan, you know, the world has a lot of problems. There's problems in politics. There's problems in the country, in war, in poverty. Why are you talking about lobsters, of all things? He's just up there spewing this complex literary jargon. Well, this is why, because he believes in empowering the individual. And so it's very important, in his opinion, that the individual understands social dominance hierarchies. And so he gives advice, very, very clear, simple to follow, practical advice on what a guy can do to start stabilizing his position, climbing the social dominance hierarchy so that he can start empowering his life, empowering his physiology, strengthening his mind. And so maybe if you're in that place where you feel like, you know, you're getting a little bit worn down, you don't really understand the social dynamics, and you want to actually like become not just more social, but you want to be more effective. You actually want to increase your influence, right? You want to be able to make more friends. You want to be able to have better friendships. You want to be able to have more fun with people. You want to be able to have friends that come over and accept and like your ideas. Maybe you want to have a group of good friends come over and build a Taco Tuesday group with them. Maybe you want to have an exploration group where you go out a couple hours from your city and take road trips every other week. But maybe you find that it's hard to get people to catch on to your ideas. Maybe you find that, except for a couple of friends that maybe you've had since high school or college or childhood days, you find that it's hard to get people to actually want to invest and spend more time in your ideas. Maybe you've tried some of these things. Maybe you've constantly just wanted to go and sponge into another person's group. Maybe like a church group. And maybe when you've went to other people's groups, whether it's a drum circle, a rollerblading group, a hiking group, or a book club, or even just going to bars, video game bars, hookah bars, if you're trying to go out and enter into somebody else's group, somebody else's club, and you find that it's hard to get traction, it's hard to make real friends, it's hard to get over the hump of getting to know somebody and then pulling them into your life, then we have to talk about how to actually understand the social dominance hierarchy. We have to understand where to start because this impacts your health. This isn't just about your social life, and vice versa. If you can impact your health, then you're going to impact the likelihood that you're actually going to be able to climb the social dominance hierarchy. So imagine this. Imagine an ape in the jungle. He's sick. He's tired. He's trying to understand how to actually go out and be adventurous. He's trying to understand how to create a new outpost with the other members of the tribe. But what if he's sick? What if he's not healthy? What if he doesn't have energy? What if he doesn't have muscles? What if he can't pick up those sticks? What if he can't go explore and climb and look out for enemies? What if he can't run fast? What if the other people in the tribe, the other monkeys in the tribe, they look at him and they just think he doesn't have what it takes? They can tell just by looking at you. How likely is it that that monkey is going to be able to influence and be successful in making friends, making alliances, going out and creating something new, whether it's an adventure, a new outpost, a new creative business plan? Well, that's exactly what's happening with humans, is that people are constantly sizing each other up. They're constantly looking at each other and trying to understand, who really is this person? What can this person really do? Are they really all they're chalked up to be? They're listening to your voice. They're trying to determine if they can trust you, if you're just a big shot, if you're talking a big game but have nothing to follow it up on. That's why, we have resumes. That's why we have references. People are constantly trying to figure out how powerful you are, how trustworthy you are. And so a big piece of the puzzle, even beyond resumes, is actually just having persuasive ability. And a big part of persuasive ability and charisma is actually being congruent and having your body being able to exude charisma. So this isn't just my opinion. Olivia Fox-Cabane coached some of the most high-end celebrities and world leaders in the world. And she has a great book, very, very popular book, sold millions of copies, called The Charisma Myth. And it's all about influencing people. It's all about improving your ability to make friends, influence people, be charismatic. She talks about Marilyn Monroe, for example, how she can instantly, just like flicking on a switch, instantly just turn on her celebrity. It's not just something that's always on, it's a skill. That's the first thing that she teaches. And so she actually has this opinion and this perspective that if you can increase your energy, if you can be comfortable in your body, it improves your charisma. And doing that improves your ability to relate, connect, and influence people. People think it's just about this resume, this piece of paper, rubbish. That is not true at all. What's more important, actually, according to Olivia Fox-Cabane, a world-leading expert in personal success and social influence, is that if you can increase the amount of comfort that you have in your own body and the amount of power that you exude, then you're going to be able to build strong relationships with people. So you can even just read the first part of her book. In the first 20, 30 pages, she outlines the 3 things that influence people and the 3 factors that you can modify in yourself to start influencing people much better. So she talks about power. She talks about presence. And if you have those 2 things, literally, people are going to feel it from you. And so what can we do? You're thinking, all right, how do I apply this to my life? What can you do to increase your power, your energy, your comfort in your own skin, in your own body? Well, I gotta tell you, it's not all just about being physically vibrant, physically healthy, but it helps. And why not? Why not use it to your advantage? Really. The loudness of your voice. the amount of energy that you bring to the table. Look at it this way. If you're talking to somebody and you can tell that they're kind of tired, they're dazing off, you see bags under their eyes, they look a little bit pale, what does that do subconsciously to you? Does that make you want to go on a some kind of expedition, go on a business venture? You want to invest with that person? Do you really feel like that helps or hurts the interaction? If that person is trying to convince you, persuade you, enter into a new business deal, or even just be your friend, really it's going to make them seem lower status. And what it's going to do is make them feel like they're weaker and they're more desperate. And they're trying to forge alliances, and you don't know if you can trust this person because they might come off as like weak or in a lack of abundance, in scarcity. And so you don't know if this person's gonna like, you know, steal because they're scared. You don't know if they're insecure. You don't know if they're gonna be able to follow through. Versus, what if somebody is just like vibrant, full of energy, clear, sharp? They're actively promoting their idea. They're clear. They have a good memory. You can feel physical vibrance coming from them. Boom, boom, boom. You can tell that they're in shape. They're not going to fail. They're not going to give out. That subconsciously triggers you. It makes you feel like, wow, this person's more attractive. It's biological. It's 100% in your biology. You cannot overcome it. It's kind of like when somebody's tall and big, it has an influence on you. It makes you feel a sense of respect, a sense of, even if it's very slight, a sense of you're going to kind of consider this person like they're potent. They're potent. It's all about potency. You really got to ingrain that into your head. Am I potent? What kind of potency do I have? You know, you got to bring some kind of potency to the table. Whether it's brilliant mind, brilliant memory, brilliant skills, whether it's relatability, personability. If you have that power, if you have that presence, you're going to be able to influence and make friends and even increase your chances of getting a raise, getting a new job, starting a business. You see, it's all about persuasion. But the point that I really want to drill in is that persuasion is very a complex topic. And the first thing is, when you're thinking about persuasion is, do you have a presence of power? Really feel into that. Do you have a presence of power? Because just like Olivia Fox-Cabane says, if you lack that sense of power and presence, then you're cutting down 2 stands of the stool. And all you have left is warmth. So those are the 3 legs of the stool. If you want to be charismatic, that's what she talks about. She says, you got to have power, presence, and warmth. So, for example, think of somebody like Tony Robbins, right? Or Bill Clinton. Let's go with Tony Robbins. Does he have power? Oh, yeah. Just think of that guy's voice. It'll just boom. Hey, it's Tony Robbins. Hey, it's Tony Robbins. Guy's like 6'8", just like a giant. Does he have presence? He's paying attention. He's not dozing off. He's not in his head. He can look you straight in the eye. He can answer all your questions. He's paying attention. He's aware of the room. He's a socially in tune person. Does he have warmth? Oh, yeah. See, you don't feel like he's this Andrew Tate, right? Does Andrew Tate have warmth? Not really. In a sense, maybe a little bit, right? But he has power and he has presence. So if you have at least 2 of the 3, you can still get away with it. But a lot of guys nowadays, they just have warmth. They're just a nice guy. And that doesn't really carry them at all. Just think of all the nice guys out there. Hey, how you doing? All right, let's talk about it. What did you do today? Where are you from? What brings you about here? You come here often? the intonation, the asking of the questions, the hidden motives. It doesn't work. Women run away from that. They hate it. And people in business, they don't respect it. They see right through it. It's an easy shtick. It's kind of just like the peon type caricature. It's just like this very inauthentic, lacking originality. It's really just an act. Everybody can play it. It's not really you. It's just a persona that you put on because you're nervous. You don't know how to act. It's kind of like you supplicate. You don't know how else to like address somebody, right? So you don't share your authentic perspective. You don't really show people who you are. You kind of just use the shtick of like, well, let people talk about themselves. Like, people love it when you let them talk about what they're interested in. But, that's so formalized. There's a lot of great things about Dale Carnegie, how to win friends and influence people. But you have to use it with social intelligence too. Trust me. I've made that book my Bible for like a good 5 years. And it gets certain results, right? It gets results in the business setting more than the social setting, right? Because the business setting is more it's more formal. And people kind of understand, like, you're not really there necessarily to like, some of the time, people just understand you're not there. You don't have to like make friends. You don't have to be like their best friend. And so sometimes it's kind of transactional. Not that I think that that's good. I actually think that good business is actually best when you're doing it like relationship marketing. Great book out there called Relationship Marketing. And so making your customers your friends is actually smart in business and at work. But you'll get away with it in business if you just use Dale Carnegie and you use their name a lot and you smile and you're happy to see them and you talk about what they're interested in, which is actually one of the best tips that he gives in his famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. But the thing is, when it comes to friendship, that's only going to get you so far. They'll make you acquaintances, right? And so I see a lot of people with the nice guy syndrome. Dr. Robert Glover talks about this in his book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, and Dating Secrets for Men. Great books. Highly recommend you read them. He talks about this nice guy shtick, this nice guy syndrome, right? And so that is the unfortunate thing, is that a lot of guys don't even realize that they're just falling into this persona. It's keeping them from making better friendships. And I'm saying this from my own perspective, my own experience. I tried to use that shtick for a while. I'm telling you, it works better in business because you have something to give them. You have a product to give them. So they kind of get it. They're like, oh, this is nice. He makes it easy. There's no pressure. Like, he's predictable. And then he gives me like a massage or like personal training. It's just simple. You don't have to go like super duper deep with your clients as long as they're getting the benefit that they want from you. But when it comes to friendships, it's not like you're literally like giving your friends like some kind of personal training service. It's not like you're selling them like some kind of supplement. And so every single time you interact, if you never have the understanding of how to actually have charisma, how to show them your authentic self, then what happens is it's just this shtick. People just see it coming. It's too predictable. And you never really go anywhere. You can never even get past like the first, second, third conversation. People kind of just like blow you off. And it took me a second to really understand that this is why. This is a big reason why, okay? So that's the first thing to understand is, how are you really coming off, right? Because here's the thing. You want to have better social results. It's one of the most important things in the world, but it can feel so confusing. It can feel like you don't know where to start. It can feel like You don't even understand yourself. You don't even understand why the anxiety comes up. When you're around people, you don't know what to say. What do I say? What do I do? You feel like you really want friends, but you really don't understand how to do it. I still remember I felt like this. So I spent a lot of my 20s just working with private clients, whether that was personal training, massage therapy, doing body work. And I really didn't go out to bars or clubs. And I wasn't supremely involved in going to church. And so I wasn't involved in the same degree that I was back in college, where I was part of every single different group in church. I was part of 5 different groups in church, so I was very social. I was very busy. I had my classes. I had part-time work as a personal trainer. I had my girlfriend. I had my friends. We had sports on Fridays. We hung out with friends on Saturdays. We volunteered all day Sunday. We volunteered throughout the week. Youth group Wednesday, young adults group Thursday, old folks home, usually on Sundays. And so we were involved like crazy in the church. And so that's how life really should be. Hobbies, sports, fitness, friend, education, relationship, family. You're fully loaded. And it's a really, really beautiful thing when your life is like that. But, graduate from college, age 22, break up with a girlfriend, go through existential religious crisis, drop the church, and then start working a job that socially isolates you. GG, my friend. So that's what happened to me. And so I had a pretty much like an 8-year period from 22 to 30 where I was working a lot, I was stacking a lot of money, but at the same time, I wasn't being as social as I wish I had been. I was working a job where it was a lot of one-on-one, and it was just word-of-mouth references. And so it's not like I was a complete hermit, but I didn't really dedicate a lot of my time to going out, meeting new people. And so once I started trying to do that, I realized, wow, I feel like I'm in high school again. I feel like I have to relearn social skills. I feel like I have to understand why people are reacting the way that they're reacting to me, right? I had to understand how to make new friendships. And I had to understand really a strategy. I didn't have a bird's eye view of really what I wanted, the kind of social life I wanted. And I didn't understand how to start going out. And really, it's like recruiting people into your life. As strange as that sounds, it's just the idea that you're going out and finding people who you relate to, who you vibe with. And if you're anything like me, guys, you actually have some anxiety around this, right? When you go out to a bar, whether it's a kava bar, a club, I kind of just wanted to have like a friend to go with me, right? But a lot of my friends were just busy. They're kind of shy. They're like, I don't really want to go out, man. Just like tired or like playing video games. And so I was like, damn. All right, well, gotta go out. So I go out, and a lot of the time I would just feel awkward. A lot of the time I would just feel like I'm wearing a mask. And it didn't really lead to authentic connections for a very long time, And so you can really be an enigma to yourself. You don't understand why you feel the way you do. It's not like you have a mirror up to you and you can't see how you're coming off when you're interacting with people. But I still remember I would be interacting with people, and I remember feeling like my face was contorting and twisting and like twitching, and it was a very uncomfortable sensation. I can't say that I really appreciated it to a great extent. And it just made me feel weird. I didn't understand. And so I started reading books just like ardently. Like I bought Olivia's book. I bought No More Mr. Nice Guy, Robert Glover. I was reading Dale Carnegie. I bought Herb Cohen's books. You can negotiate anything. I got other books on negotiation from a CIA agent, Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss. And I just studied this stuff and studied this stuff. Wanted to understand influence. Robert Cialdini, 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. You know, I was just reading and reading and reading. I was trying to understand people. I was trying to understand what's really going on here. You know, read about Jordan Peterson. Found out about Robert Sapolsky. Found out about the social dominance hierarchy. Started really trying to understand. All right, well, I understand kind of like the framework and the theory. But at the same time, it's like, what do I do about it? They would give you like all of these psychological like case studies. They would give you like all this theory about, you know, childhood abandonment, childhood trauma, parental neglect. They would even talk about ancestral bondages or bloodline curses, you know, family bondage. So it's like, okay, well, this is a little bit like too theory-based, right? I just need to know what to do. Like, read Force versus Power, David Hawkins. I really just wanted to know, how the heck do I get out there? And how the heck do I just like make good friends? I just want to make good friends. I just want to get a good girlfriend again. And, you know, I was still stuck. After reading all those books for all that time, I still felt stuck. Because the reading of the book just changes like your theoretical understanding of what's going on. But it didn't really change my insecurities. It didn't really change my social awkwardness. It didn't change my anxiety. And it really didn't change my health either. And so I remained stuck for a very long time. And, you know, it makes it very hard to actually go out and socialize when you don't enjoy it, right? When you feel like, you know, you're not authentically having a good time. You know, I was going to clubs, I was going to bars, I was reading information on like cold approaching women, and like I studied a little bit of pickup artist material, and it was really hard for me. I really never thought along those lines. It was kind of like somebody who's never exercised before being thrown in and having to like do gymnastics, literally. It's like they want you to do backflips and cartwheels, and you're over there and you're just like stiff. You don't really even have the ability to do like a full squat. And so it was not a nice experience, to say the least. It really was not easy. And so what does that make you want to do? It actually made me not want to go out. It was painful. You know, I didn't really have perspective. I didn't know where to go to find people that were like me. It was hard. Listen, well, I'll loosen this backpack. I feel like it's making it hard to breathe. So one of the toughest things was trying to understand, you know, what's really going on here. Where should I go? Who do I really want to be around? You know, I even tried going back to church, but the crazy thing about that was, at that time, I was actually experimenting with yoga. I was experimenting with Buddhism. I was experimenting with different forms of philosophy that wasn't purely Christian. And so, if you know anything about Christianity, there's a lot of people who are very dogmatic, who think that the only way to salvation is by believing in the Lord Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. And so a lot of people there, you know, I kind of got caught up in this thing where it's like, you know, I would go to church and I'd talk philosophy to people. I'd talk about like the different branches of Christianity. I'd talk about how they all have different interpretations of scripture. I was very in my head. I wasn't really like flowing. I wasn't there to like have fun. I was kind of there to like assert that I know. And so I didn't really make good connections at church again either. And so you can start to feel like you're kind of in this sludge. You're in this rut and you're like, what's going on, man? Like, how do I break free from this? Every single time I want to get ready to go out, I kind of feel like, oh man, like, I kind of feel anxious. Like, I don't really know that many people. How am I going to be perceived? How am I going to come off? What should I wear? You know, like, I just want to like make friends. But I feel like every single time I tried to make friends, I would just come off as low status, wouldn't feel funny, wouldn't feel powerful, would kind of just feel like kind of disrespected. And so it was a struggle. And it took me a really long time to come across the person who would explain what's really happening. And so I remember I was listening to this guy. His name is Owen Cook. And he teaches people how to go out and actually make authentic social connections, how to find a wife, how to get dating abundance, how to market, how to make more money, how to basically leverage your social skills and your personality to create an amazing life. And so I remembered him. I said, that guy kind of had a similar story to me. I really like this guy. This guy, he spent over 20 years of his life trying to understand social skills because he was mildly autistic growing up. And he had the same problem as I did. He found that at a certain part of his life, he didn't understand how to make real friends. He didn't understand how to get a girlfriend. And so he was so lonely. One day he's even walking home from school. He's like a teenager and it's snowing and he just feels so lonely. He would always just like go to school and try to like make friends and try to like talk to girls, but they would always kind of just like giggle, blow him off, tease him. He was bullied. And so he's walking home from school and he just remembers like, am I just going to go home and just like be alone again? Just like, what am I even going to do at home? Back then, it's like you have like a little Atari NES system, just play some video games, just eat some food, just like, you know, wank off and then like cry, hugging a pillow. And you're just lonely. You're just, you're just lonely. And life is just like, it was just horrendous for him. So he's walking home in the snow and he thinks like, I almost have no motivation to even keep walking. He literally just like lies down in the snow and the snow is just falling on his face. He's feeling the coldness on his back. He's starting to feel like his breath is like slowing down. His throat is jamming up. He feels like a little bit of a whimper. And he just feels like, oh my God, like I almost have no will to live. Like I almost wish that I could just like lay here and die. Because for years and years and years, he was just trying to make authentic relationships, to get a girlfriend. And there he is with all of his hormones, all of his horniness as a teenager, alone, day after day after day. And so he almost died right there, but he had to get up. He said, I have to get up. I have to keep going. And what he did was he got this fire in him and said, you know what? If I'm going to literally like be thinking about killing myself and thinking that life isn't worth living just because I'm so lonely and don't understand people, then the only thing that I can do is fix this problem or die. And so he said, I have to find somebody who can help me, because he saw these guys who are naturally just good with people. They're smooth. People just go up to them. People respect them. They always have friends. They're always just like these jock-looking guys, big guys. But then there's also just these guys who are like, even if they're short, even if they're a little bit fat, they're just funny. They're just smooth. People like them. But he wasn't one of those people. So he said, I have to find one of those people, and I'll do whatever it takes to actually make friends with that person. I have to learn how to be like more socially powerful. And so he found a mentor. His name was Mystery. And so he made Mystery his mentor. And for years and years and years, he trained with Mystery. And Mystery would have Owen be going out 8 hours a day. You know, Owen was actually so serious. He was Mystery's greatest student. Owen was more serious than anybody there was about actually improving this area of life. Owen would go out over 8 hours every single day, 7 days a week. And what he would do is he'd go out during the day. He'd just walk up to every single person he could find, chat with them. He'd go out at night everywhere. He'd go to shopping malls. He'd go to libraries. He'd go to public parks. He'd go to nightclubs, bars, clubs. He went everywhere and talked to everyone. Crippling anxiety, getting shut down, getting clowned, getting disrespected. Honestly, going on a very, very difficult path for somebody. Imagine like a little monkey just going around interacting with every creature in the jungle. How much courage that takes. And what really happens is that really is what's happening when we're in the social jungle. You're going around and it's like there's 8 billion people on the planet and there's essentially 8 billion different Pokemon that you're interacting with, because everybody has a different mind, right? Nobody has the same mind. And so you're interacting with 8 billion different kinds of creatures, 8 billion different kinds of Pokemon. And you don't know what's going to happen. And if you're a small little guy, you're a small little monkey, and you don't have a lot of power, then what's going to happen is a lot of people aren't going to like that you're coming up to them and making your sounds and doing your moves. They're just not. Some people will, some people won't. But it's different if you're this big gorilla just going around. People are going to like not fuck with you. They're not going to attack you. They're not going to like throw poop at you. They're not going to like punch you and try to take away your energy and take away your food. And figuratively, that's what a lot of people do in real life. If they don't want you there, if they perceive that you're low status or annoying them, especially women, they're kind of brutal like this. If you don't get the hint, then they'll either just walk away from you, tell you to walk away. And some people are even more mean than that, right? So he got bullied, he got disrespected, he went through the ringer. And with enough time and training, the years passed, and what really kept him going was certain people would actually laugh with him. Certain people would smile. And when he saw these good reactions, he had hope. And he thought, maybe I am learning a little bit. Maybe I am getting a little bit stronger. Maybe I am learning new moves. So Owen went around slowly leveling up, learning new techniques, gathering new items, getting new wardrobe, and really just leveling up his social skills slowly, very slowly. But thank God he had a mentor. And what Owen found was, after a certain amount of time, he was able to understand people. And that's the same thing that happened with me. You know, he started getting results. Eventually, I started getting results too. But it took a lot of confusion, because you're trying to figure out yourself and other people. And those are the two most complicated things really in this world, is yourself and other people. And so one of the things I really struggled with was not having the energy to go out. I kept on feeling like I was getting constantly deflated. Work was deflating me. My anxiety was deflating me. I felt like I was playing a persona and it was fatiguing me. I would always overanalyze situations and be like, should I go up to them? No, I shouldn't go up to them. I'm not interested in them. Oh, they don't seem like the person that I like. Oh no, they just seem like a jerk. And I would just have all these fatigues coming at me. And so it was really a stressful thing for me to even just go out and try to make friends. And it really bothered me because every other area of my life, I understood. Almost. Actually that's a lie. That's a misspeak because I didn't understand my health. My energy was fluctuating. My digestion was fluctuating. And I didn't put the two and two together. That actually being low on the social dominance hierarchy would actually affect my health. And so I didn't understand the critical importance of learning social skills, of learning how to hold myself, of learning how to hold my frame, hold my respect, hold my dignity, of learning who I am and what I want and what I stand for. And then calibrating my social interactions based on that. I didn't understand these layers. And so I would go out and I would be at the mercy of trying to like supplicate or be too nice. Remember we were talking about the nice guy syndrome? You're too agreeable. You're not showing your true self. And it happened again and again and again and again and again and again. And at a certain point, I actually wondered, like, why does this keep happening? Like, why is it the same thing again and again and again, over and over? Like, why do I keep on falling to the same patterns? And then I feel weak, and then I feel embarrassed, and then I feel frustrated, and then I feel confused. You know, and I had points in my life where I really didn't understand myself or people. I still remember I went to a friend's wedding, and I didn't understand how to react when certain people said certain things to me that I didn't like. And so I had two different weddings that I went to, and I really didn't understand why I didn't appreciate certain people there. You know, I felt like they were just jerks. I don't understand why they said it like that. They're just not nice people. What was really happening was they were higher in the social dominance hierarchy. And they said things that really just reflected their perspective and showed that they didn't appreciate my perspective. And then I would kind of like get frustrated at. I didn't understand social nuances, right? And I'll tell you why. I tell you why there was friction. I tell you why I was stuck. Because it took me a very long time to understand. And even just those two weddings specifically stand out in my mind as being markers and really showing me like, there's something here that you're not getting, man. There's something here that you're really not getting. And there's something here that you really have to work on, because it really ruined a big part of my experience at those weddings. Just not being able to connect, not being able to understand the people. And it shut me down. I wasn't able to have as much fun. And I felt like everybody else was kind of like a little bit more together than me, expressing themselves, laughing, being a little bit more like abundant and social and powerful and friendly. And I felt like they were more intelligent and more, they had more going on in their life. And I felt intimidated and I felt inferior. And really, it wasn't nice. And I didn't understand why I was feeling all those things, right? What was really happening, and this is what took me really over like 8 years to really understand, studying all these experts, really like paying for boot camps, spending hundreds of hours consuming content from Owen Cook. Here it is. Took me like over 8 years to understand what I really had to work on, why I just felt stuck socially, why it was affecting my health. Here it is. I didn't have the right foundation. I wasn't in the collaborative frame. That's the real foundation. I wasn't in the collaborative frame. I was in the competitive frame. I'm telling you, that is a concept that is worth so much gold meditating on and practicing. The competitive frame versus the collaborative frame. This is something that Owen Cook teaches, and it's at the center of him helping people understand how to get out of this sludge, this muck of just being completely stuck in your head, socially anxious, alone, lonely, guys disrespecting you, guys just treating you like you're this nobody, women ignoring you, not being able to influence, not being able to make the relationships that you want. Just being lonely and separated and ignored and just having like one or two friends and just isolating more and more and more as you get fatter and more sick and more weak, as your life just like passes by you day after day after day. You keep on telling yourself that's going to get better, but it's a lie. It's cognitive dissonance, because you see things are actually getting worse. And so this is the center, the cornerstone of what I realized I have to work on for the sake of my health, for the sake of my life, my mental health, my physical health, my future, my progeny, if I want to have a family, if I want to be successful in business, if I don't want to be poor. I have to understand and build slowly, starting with being collaborative and not competitive. And this is a very spiritual concept too, because I remember back when I was practicing Christianity hardcore, I remember that I was actually in that frame. Collaborative. What does that mean? So the collaborative frame actually made me very abundant, very friendly, won me a lot of friends, won me popularity, and made me feel strong. It's actually the secret to rising up in the social dominance hierarchy. What I was doing was I was always thinking like, how do I care about this person? How do I help this person? How do I connect this person? What does this person need? What can I do for this person? What kind of knowledge can I share? How can we just have some good vibes? I was always thinking this person is cool. This person is special. I like this person. God cares about this person. I'm going to do what I can to let God flow through me to help this person. It was a very, very beneficial frame and mindset to have in life. And although that has to be balanced out and tempered with not suppressing your natural and real feelings about things. You can't just spiritually bypass and instantly just be Jesus, you know? So as much as you, like, in one hand, understand everybody's very valuable, everybody's a child of God, you know, you want to help everybody. Everybody is, like, inherently important. Everybody has their good qualities. Everybody's on, like, the same mission, right? Well, that's the truth on one hand, but on the other hand, that's a very mature frame to be able to hold. And in reality, you can't help everybody, and you're not going to click and like everybody, and you're not really going to be able to like relate completely to everybody. You're not going to be able to actually help a lot of people. And so it's a paradox. It's definitely a Zen paradox where on one hand, you understand that if you could, you would want to help this person and you would be friends with this person. But in reality, the reality is that actually you cannot be friends with everybody. You cannot help everybody. As a matter of fact, you have to understand that you cannot, you will not, you should not try to be friends with everybody. It's impossible. So that's the mistake that I made, is that I didn't balance out this Zen paradox. You know, you just try to be like Jesus Christ and Mr. Nice Guy to everybody. But the truth is, people aren't going to vibe with you, and you genuinely don't vibe with a lot of people out there. There's only a very small segment of people that you authentically actually want to be friends with. And to pretend otherwise is actually just bullshit. You see a lot of guys actually falling into this. Rustling in the leaves over there. I wonder what that is. You see a lot of guys falling into this bullshit. And so it actually makes them more fake, and it makes them feel like they're spiritually just trying to bypass. They're pretending that they're actually at a higher paradigm than they actually are. Because what we talked about, the fully spiritual collaborative mindset, it's pretty much like Christ consciousness. It's pretty much like the enlightened consciousness, where it's good to have that goal where, oh, I love everybody. Everybody's just a special snowflake. Everybody's just like so wonderful, and I can help everybody. And bullshit. Unless if you're actually enlightened, you're not actually able to live that way. So yes, you can hold it theoretically as an ideal. You can have goodwill towards all, but when it comes down to it, it'll actually hurt you socially to try to like live up to that fully enlightened frame. So when we say collaborative, it just means that you're not competitive. It just means that you're there to bring good vibes. You understand that not everybody's going to click with you. You're not trying to be super duper friends with everyone. But the thing is, you're not trying to get anything really from anybody. You're just there to share in whatever real way you can. Have a good time. And collaborate with who you can collaborate with, right? You still have full respect of everybody and their autonomy, their time, their right to dislike you, you know, their right to actually like not want to talk to you. That's collaborative. That's coming at it with empathy, right? And so that's what I didn't have before. I would kind of come at it with this slight neediness where I really wanted to just be friends with everyone. And if they didn't like me, oh my God, like, why is this person being mean? Like, don't they see how great I am? Like, don't they see how nice I am? Why does everybody have to be so like mean? And it's really an unfortunate paradigm to be coming from. It's because it limits you. It's not realistic. And so it does take a long time to start to understand how to balance all of these nuances out. It does. And what I say is, as you go on your personal journey, I definitely recommend that you rewatch this episode. You get all of the books that I mentioned. They're all fantastic books, even recommended by Tai Lopez. Very popular classics. These are the best of the best, learning from the masters. So they will be your mentors initially. And I also recommend, as you go through this journey, as we all are still going through, I'm still on my journey too, but as you go on your journey to becoming more and more social, to becoming more and more collaborative, to becoming a better version of yourself, more influential, more of a giver, more of a value provider, you know, making an impact on the world with your ideas, with your work, with your creativity, with your art. As you go on that journey to do that, also look for a mentor. Look for somebody who's blazed the trail before you. Look for somebody who you can honestly respect, who you've studied in person and online as much as you possibly can. Once you know who that person is for you, go get a mentor. Find somebody who you've screened, who you've battle tested. You've taken courses with them. You've taken trainings with them. You've talked to their employees. You've researched them. Find that mentor. I'm currently in that process right now. You should always be looking for better and better mentors and investing a portion of your money. I say 10 to 20% of your income is a fair amount to invest in your own growth, into mentorship. And if you're not investing into that, then the real risk is that you stay in the bad health and that you stay in the slump that you're in, that you stay lonely, that you stay weak. You know, it's the same old story in the Bible of Cain and Abel. You know, Abel, they were both supposed to give a sacrifice to God. And Abel's gift and his sacrifice was accepted by God. And Cain's gift was rejected by God. Because Abel brought the first fruits. And Abel's sacrifice was sincere and it was serious. Cain's gift was not the best of his flock, so he half-assed it. And I found that I made that mistake too. Is that when you just try to do things half-assed, when you go at it alone, when you don't invest and treat life seriously and say, if I don't succeed here, I understand that the world is actually pretty brutal. I may get a disease. I may be weak the rest of my life. I may be lonely the rest of my damn life. I may have to settle for a dysfunctional relationship with a woman that I'm not attracted to. My marriage might actually fall apart. My kids might actually see like a very unhappy marriage where we don't really like each other. And that's misery, you know. And so the truth is, you got to understand where to sacrifice, where to invest. Of course, invest in yourself. Of course, invest in your success. But screen out the people that you find very virtuous. Screen out virtue. Screen out honor. Screen out people where their words speak deep into your heart. And don't let yourself be so deceived by just words and charisma. Don't. You have to see things a little bit deeper than that. Over time, study them for weeks and months. Get different opinions. Really dig deep into who your mentors are. It's very important. You know, Tai Lopez, Napoleon Hill, they both talk about how the secret to success is getting a mentor. Tony Robbins talks about this. Napoleon Hill says the mastermind is the very most powerful secret to success. You have to have other minds in this battle with you. And so as you go forward, and in a righteous way, try to increase your status, in a giving way, in an altruistic way, you're going to find that your health improves, your sleep is better, you're more muscular, your voice is deeper, you're more prone to actually going for what you really want in life. Better mates, better friends, better trips, better vacations, more money, more charity, more inspiration, more and more and more, and up and up and up. Your life will spiral up. And what I have to say is, it's all about beginning. It's all about just starting. Start where you are. Become stable where you are. Start with easy wins. You know, when it comes to pushing yourself, just start building the winner effect. Start building small wins, perceived wins, and then move up from there, right? Even if that's just like going to the old folks' home, talking to old people. If you have severe anxiety, even if it just means going and talking to people who are in AA, even if it just means going to church groups, start easy. Start easy. Even if it means just joining like a dodgeball group or a kickball group, or even if it just means sending more voicemails to your friends. Start somewhere and start actually like patting yourself on the back. Start feeling like you're making progress. And you'll find that your winner effect will start building. You'll start having these changes in your brain chemistry, in your body chemistry. You'll start feeling like you're coming out of your shell. And so stabilize, build a routine, build a strategy, start taking action. And once you feel like you've leveled up a little bit, go to the next region, right? It's like an RPG. You don't start out going to like the level 50 caves and dungeons. You don't. You'll just get destroyed. You'll hate the game. It's going to be impossible. You'll feel stuck. So you really got to know how to start. Start easy. Start in easy mode. You know, one thing I realized is if you can actually just find groups where you're naturally just interested and having fun, whether it's frisbee groups, hiking groups, you know, nature watching groups, or I don't know, maybe you like volleyball, maybe you like video game groups, maybe you like Dungeons and Dragons, there's Facebook groups. Starting small and building out one community at a time, right? Building out one social group at a time. Maybe it will take you weeks, months, or even a year. But what I'd say is get some feedback, get a mentor, look up Owen Cook, start consuming his material. Really, start consuming his material. It'll change your life. And really start understanding your own psychology. You know, there's so much that goes into this that we can't talk about every single little nuance of how to step up your power level as you do this. But comment below if you want me to include more and more of these videos of how social life impacts your health. You know, there's so many details of how to actually like make small, simple steps to start making progress, how to congratulate yourself, how to celebrate small wins, how to keep momentum in every single social interaction so that you feel like you're winning, you're making progress. You have to keep yourself in the ring, you know? You're going out and you're encountering all these different Pokemon, all these different people. Remember, you gotta pat yourself on the back. Keep momentum. You're not gonna make friends with everybody. What you want is reference experiences. What you want is expansion. What you want is things to think about, even if it's not pleasant at the moment. Keep yourself going. Get a lot more experience. It's all about the XP, right? Keep yourself going. Have a positive mindset as you go through different interactions. It'll help you not get frustrated. One thing Owen always says is, every interaction that you do, tell yourself 1,000 out of 10, man. 1,000 out of 10. Who the hell would have the balls to do that? That was awesome. Because maybe you're going to have to stretch yourself to do something that you're not used to. Like walking up to a group of people and saying hi. And what if you just say, hi, my name is John, and I really like Pokemon games. Nice to meet you all. What are you all into? And maybe it doesn't go how you expected it. But still, it's not about getting a result. It's about training yourself to face your own anxiety, to control your own state, and to be happy and outcome independent, right? Are you collaborative? Were you collaborative in that interaction? Or were you feeling anxiety because you felt competitive? You have to practice the collaborative mindset, right? And you're gonna feel, just like I said, I felt like I knew what to do, but the moment I went up to the girl or the group, sometimes I would fall back into the competitive mindset. I'm telling you, it's a process. It really is a process. And sometimes I would feel so deflated, I just want to go home after like 2 or 3 interactions. And I want to just go home and do yoga to build back my energy, because I felt so deflated because I didn't understand how to interpret these things, right? So you don't have to be like me. Maybe sometimes you're gonna feel like that. Don't feel bad, but remember, 1,000 out of 10, collaborative. 1,000 out of 10. Who the hell would have the balls to do that? Pat yourself on the back. Go collaborate again. That was great. That was great. No matter what happens, they laugh at you, you feel embarrassed, they ask you to walk away. 1,000 out of 10. Who the hell would have the balls to do that? Maybe you feel like you became mean or defensive. You actually like dissed them. Maybe you get angry. You walk away, you realize, wow, 1,000 out of 10. That was great. Who the hell would have the balls to do that? Even if you realize, okay, well, maybe next time I'll be more collaborative. Don't judge yourself. Just have fun. See it like it's a scientific investigation. And what you'll find is, over the weeks, months, years, you're going to really, really understand yourself better. You're going to understand people better. You're going to understand where the people that you really want to be with are, what you really want out of relationships. And you're going to find that you're going to grow so much as a person that where you are in a year is completely different than where you were 1 year ago even, let alone 3 years or 5 years. You're going to completely transform as a person. And it's so worth your time. It really is. You're going to be able to climb the social hierarchy, not in an egotistical way, but you're going to really do it in a virtuous way that has merit, because you improved your values and you improved your ability to actually understand people. You improved your ability to respect people, and you improved your social IQ and your emotional IQ. Okay? So there's a truth to the energetic portion of this. Okay? So remember, we began this video talking about, if you really want the low-hanging fruit, the easiest thing to do is to empower yourself physically. So that's why we talk all this yoga. That's why we talk all this nutrition. That's why we talk all of this simple detox. So that's why I created the 7-day detox, actually, is that I realized if I want to climb the social dominance hierarchy and actually become a more powerful person, then what I have to do is make sure that I have the energy and the vitality to do it. If I really want to increase my chances of influencing people, I need the energy. I need the stamina. I need the vitality. And so I had to understand, wow, I've kind of been through a lot of unhealthy things the past couple of years. Let me just like boost my energy. Let me boost my vitality by just understanding and doing a lot of yoga cleanses. And so I dug deep into understanding the science of yoga, the science of detox, the science of panchakarma, the science of using different herbs and oils to completely purge my system so that I feel strong again. And I gotta say, it works. It works magic, because what I found was I went from being a very low energy person to being really ready to go. And even just from the food that I was eating, even just from cleansing out my body so that my body would wake up fresh. My body would wake up and I'd have energy to go out. And when I ate, I didn't feel like I had to guzzle down energy drinks or coffee. I didn't feel like I needed crutches. I didn't feel like I needed to pacify myself with any drug or any medication, right? So that wasn't a crutch. That wasn't something that was holding me back. And so the yoga detox was actually an amazing tool in my tool belt, even when it came to getting myself to go out and have the energy to socialize. It's like sometimes you come home from work, you eat that big meal, and if it's not easy to digest, if it's not the right kind of food, you will not go out that night. You will just feel so stupid, dumb, heavy. You're gonna stay in, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna play Horizon Zero Dawn, you're gonna play WoW, you're gonna play StarCraft. That's what happens, all right? So don't let that be your life. Don't let something as simple as food and health keep you from living the life that you want. Don't let yourself just fall into this coma, this matrix, where somebody else, some other system is just draining you. The food that you're eating, the weed, the porn, the entertainment system. It's dragging you away from really actually expanding and living a good life. So don't let that be you. Understand health, understand nutrition, understand your own body, and treat it like your temple so that you can build the life that you want. And it's actually very easy. You know, America has made it seem very complicated. There's all these different opinions. But what I love about yoga is that it simplifies things. Very, very much so. So for example, when you click the link in the description and you get the free 7-day yoga testosterone cleanse, what you're gonna find is all you gotta do is take 3 different herbs morning and night, and then take an oil on day 7 and practice a little bit of delayed eating. I give you all the recipes. It's laid out in under 20 pages. And there's even a 1-pager that shows you, look, this is what you do all 7 days. You can see it in one little short page. It makes it easy. Amazon one-click links to get all the herbs. And it's really easy stuff, guys. It's the easiest 101 introduction to transforming your health effortlessly that you're ever gonna get, period. Ever. Nobody else is telling you about this stuff. Everybody else is telling you, count your carbs. Carbs are bad. Count your calories. Where it's like in nature, nobody was doing that. It's totally unnatural. It's totally a gimmick. It's totally just circus. It's a scam. It's like preschool, guys. This is preschool. It's actually worse than preschool. It's like a kindergartner thinking that they know how to get to the moon. It's all rubbish. And so that's why people feel scammed, confused. So enough with that. Throw all that in the garbage. This is all natural stuff, guys. This is all natural stuff. This is yoga. This has been around for thousands of years. It's stuff that you can trust, right? So it's not gimmicky CrossFit, puking, no. This is all natural stuff. We've been doing this for millennia. So what I want you to do is click that link so that you can experience this, so you can empower yourself, so that you can start with the low-hanging fruit, get the energy that you need, get the physical vitality that you need. And you're gonna find that you have more energy, you have more belief in yourself, you have more hope in yourself, you have more motivation to actually go out and share. Your brain's gonna open up, your voice is gonna open up, your body's gonna have more energy. You're gonna like who you see in the mirror when you wake up and you look in the mirror. And so this is the beginning of it all. It's treating your body like a temple and really beginning to feel the natural power that you can really have when you actually treat your body right. And this is what you need, okay? You're gonna be reading a lot of books. You need physical focus. You need physical vitality. You can't be lethargic. You need vitality when you're learning all this stuff, right? So even if you just want to read books, let alone if you want to go out and actually put this to the test, guys. And it's all worth it. You can meet the woman of your dreams. You can have so many female friends. You can have great adventures with your buddies. You can go to 25 different national parks, which is what I'm doing. You can travel the world. You can see all 51 states. You can go to different countries. You can go to Nepal. You can go to India. You can go to ashrams. You can go to holy sacred spaces. You can go to Vegas. The world is yours, guys. But it all begins with, how empowered are you really? Are you really empowered, or are you just still derping? Are you cocooning? Are you just like medicating yourself with weed and drugs and porn and energy drinks and just like hiding from the consequences and just pretending like it's not there, like an ostrich with his damn head in the sand? You don't have to be like that. There's people out here. I'm on your team. Owen Cook is on your team. Go check out Owen Cook free tour. Get your 7-day Yogi Testosterone Cleanse right now. Start right now. This is a new chapter of your life. Your life is not going to be the same. Start today. It's a new chapter of your life, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see how this transforms you. You know, every single time I go through this cleanse, I lose a lot of weight. I lose a lot of fat. I see a lot of junk come out of my system. And it's a beautiful thing. A lot of people lose 7 pounds just in these 7 days because you flush out all the toxins, parasites, sludge, fermenting bacteria in your system. You just poop it all out. You know, you take castor oil on day 7, you just completely, boom, just like flush it all out. You're gonna be surprised. You're gonna say, oh my God, all that was in me? Like, thank God I cleansed that out. That's some BS. And so you're just gonna feel so much better and empowered. And doors are gonna open, guys. Doors are gonna open just from doing simple things like this. So you owe it to yourself. And comment below what else you want to talk about on the next episodes. There's a lot that goes into understanding this social journey. So I'm going to check out right now. We're going to make our way down this path, but thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for believing in yourself. And thanks for thinking that you can make a brighter future, that you can make a more healthy world for us all to live in, right? A better world for us all to live in, a healthier world, because the world has a lot of scams, a lot of fake food, fake medicine, bad soil. So we need more and more people supporting this movement. That's why we're the Health Hacker Jedis, the people who see things differently, who actually do what it takes to create a different health, a different world, to support this movement, and not just feed into the status quo of coping, sickness, disease, scams, fake health, fake medicine, and just deals with the devil that give you a little bit of energy now, but really kill you on the back end. Cigarettes, alcohol, marijuana, porn. So it's time to change all that. So thanks for being part of this movement. We need this so that we don't just all turn into damn zombies, and so that we don't just all continue to be batteries in somebody else's matrix, okay? All right, so thanks for being a health warrior. Thanks for actually taking out your sword. Thanks for being part of this movement so that we can make a difference together. But it's only together that we do it, all right? I'll see you in the next video. Get your guide now.